Hello and welcome to another episode from our series on Dom Scupoli and the Spiritual Combat. Thank you for joining us again for another week. This will be one of my favorite topics to talk about. And when I do a birthday show this year, I'm probably going to be talking on this because there's just not enough hours in the day to talk about this chapter. We are up to chapter 50 tonight. So if you're new, I would love it if you could go back to one of the first two on the Dom Scupoli series, because there's so much to absorb, there's so much to know. But stay if you like and see if you are resonating with any of the teachings of this very wise and wonderful priest, Dom Scupoli. He put together some of the most challenging exercises we can take into the rest of our lives, and this week is number 50 and no less challenging. Please, if you like this content, can you please give me a thumbs up and like the channel by subscribing? When you subscribe, this video and my actually gets bumped up into the rating so other people can hear and get something from these very, very wise teachings. And as always, if you are a regular, go put me on pause, get your popcorn, your ginseng tea, whatever it is that you'd like to snack on, because this one, episode 50, chapter 50 tonight, is on the intercession of the angels and saints. Thank goodness we've got them, right? If you'd like to support the channel, there is a Patreon link below and on the screen. Thank you very much to my new Patreon subscribers. I'm still learning it. I'm hoping to get it down. Thank goodness I've got a son that he's really talented. Without further discourse, we shall go directly to prayer. Thank you. In nomine Patri et Filio et Spiritus Sanctus, sic erat in principio et nunc et semper et saecula saeculorum. Sancte Michael Arcangele, defende nos in prelio, contra nequitiam in insidiis diaboli esto presidium, imperere Deus, supplicis te pecamur tuque. Princeps militia celestis satana maliosque, spiritus malignos, qui ad perditionem animarum pervegantur in mundo divina virtute in infernum detrude. Amen. Our study prayer. Concedi mihi misericordias Deus qui tibi sunt placita, ardenter consupiscere, prudenter investigare, vericiter agnoscere et perfecte ad implere, ad laudum et gloriam nominis Tui. Amen. In English. O merciful God, grant us to desire eagerly, to investigate prudently, to acknowledge sincerely, and to fulfill perfectly those things that are pleasing to Thee, for the praise and glory of Thy holy name. Thomas Aquinas. The Spiritual Combat and a Treatise on Peace of Soul, Dom Lorenzo Scupoli. Chapter 50. A method of meditation and prayer involving the intercession of the saints and the angels. The two following methods of angel employed. The first method is to address yourself to the Eternal Father, laying before Him the hymns of heavenly choirs, the labors, persecutions, and torments suffered by the saints on earth for love of Him. Then, in recalling their fidelity and love, beseech Him to grant your petitions. The second method is to invoke the angels, those blessed spirits earnestly desirous not only of our earthly perfection, but of our greater heavenly perfection. Earnestly beseech them to assist you in subduing your evil inclinations and conquering the enemies of your salvation, and beg a particular remembrance at the hour of death. Sometimes think over the extraordinary graces God has granted to the saints and angels, and rejoice as if they had been bestowed on yourself. Rather, let your joy be even greater for his having bestowed such favors on them, rather than on yourself. For such was his will, and you should bless and praise God in the accomplishments of his divine plan. To facilitate the regularity and performance of this exercise, it would be well to assign the different days of the week to the different orders of the blessed. On Sunday, implore the intercession of the 9 angelic choirs. On Monday, invoke John the Baptist. On Tuesday, the patriarchs and prophets. On Wednesday, the apostles. On Thursday, the martyrs. On Friday, bishops and confessors. On Saturday, the virgins and other saints. Let no day pass without imploring the assistance of Our Lady, the Queen of all saints, your guardian angel, the glorious Archangel St. Michael, or any other saint to whom you may have a particular devotion. Moreover, beseech daily the Eternal Father, his divine Son, and the Blessed Virgin, that you may be particularly under the protection of Saint Joseph, the worthy spouse of the most chaste Virgin. Then, addressing yourself to this loving protector, ask with great humility to be received into his care, for innumerable are the instances of assistance afforded to those who have called upon Saint Joseph in their spiritual or temporal necessities. Particularly has he aided them when they stood in need of light from heaven and direction in their prayers. And if God shows so much regard for the other saints who have loved and served him here below, how much consideration and deference will he not show for the person he so honored as to pay him filial homage and obedience? In this chapter by Dom Scupoli, we see that we have at our disposal Christians, just like the first martyrs, like the first disciples. We have at our assistance those that have gone before us, those that have lived and died in their faith so deep that it was rewarded by the entrance to heaven. As some of my friends like to say, at the right hand, right there, of Jesus, as soon as they get to heaven. This is something that we all aspire to. We all aspire to grow in that faith. I hope you are, if you're here tonight. We hope to aspire to that level of absolute faith where we don't need to see, because faith is knowing something without ever seeing it. And for a lot of people, that's really difficult. And that's okay, too, because there is that expression that, we fake it until we make it. That can be right. However, instead of faking it till we make it, how about we call on our own guardian angel that we've been given, or the angel and his absolute beautiful angels, the choirs, that kicked Satan out of heaven. That is a powerful intercessor you cannot ignore. I don't care who you are. When we look at the intercession of other saints, such as people that have already gone into heaven that you know have lived very, very good and holy lives. As this chapter mentions, John the Baptist, he is a wonderful intercessor. How about the father, the stepfather of Jesus, St. Joseph? Yes. Mary, the perfect vessel, the original church who bore the Lamb of God. These are wonderful instances and examples of potential intercession to knock down any barriers or any walls that you are encountering in your personal prayer life, in all these things that we've been going through and writing to hope to achieve in our desire to walk towards virtue. It's difficult alone. It's difficult with the methods of prayer that we have been doing. So, what do we need? None of us are meant to be here alone. We link arms. We link prayers. We ask others for prayer here and above. Let's look at this chapter. Get your pencils and your journals, please. Once again, please like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it if you can on any form of social media, and hashtag it, okay? If you don't hashtag Sister Pharaoh Rose, I am a sister in the Third Order Franciscans. Leave me a comment below if you don't know what that is, or for more suggestions, because we're going to start new videos shortly. And if you'd like to assist, as I assist people all over in the Office of Healing, Exorcism, and Deliverance, as well as Swords of St. Michael does the very same thing all over. You and your support are keeping this channel alive and that ministry going. And for that, God bless you. You are in my prayers every night. So, journals. Chapter 50, I had to say, this is calling on all the angels and saints, because that's what I love to do. Oh, goodness, I can't tell you. All right. Every time I get in the car, especially, when you have a car accident when you're, 18? And then you don't have another one for many decades later. What is that telling you? Angelic protection, especially with the way people drive. It's bad enough, you're a very defensive driver, but you just cannot help the way other people drive. Every time I get behind the wheel of a car, I am praying the St. Michael prayer. Why? And I pray it in Latin too. We just don't know. And, sometimes we do get in an accident. And sometimes that accident and the challenges that we face, that is for the better glory of God, for our souls to become closer, depend on Him. However, we don't want to tempt fate. So if you can take a couple minutes when you get in the car, incorporate a prayer to your guardian angel. How difficult is that? I'm looking at my abuelita, my grandma, Lupe, right here. I keep her picture here all the time because she's such an inspiration to me. And I know how much she loved Jesus. So I occasionally, from time to time, say, Grandma, can you help me? And it can be a prayer to people that you know. And I was going to get some great Bible quotes, but I think I'm going to do a different show on that so that I can help people understand it is perfectly fine and it is perfectly good to pray to those in heaven and ask them, for help. Ask them to take their adoration of God and add the prayers that we are sending up, to pray to our guardian angel, to pray to the heavenly choirs. The more we adore and pray with them, the more grace we can receive. We have to be open to its reception. As we've talked about many times on this show before, the grace of our Lord falls freely on the sinner and the saint alike. Who receives it? Not he that's worthy, he that's open and ready and asking for it. So always remember to ask for it. As we get our journals out, we're going to take a look at a couple different things here. As the chapter had pointed out, we know, for those of us that are, and we have been steeped in our prayers, our education on saints and angels and the martyrs and the angelic beings, we kind of have an idea about how they can help us. For those of us that, just did not have that kind of upbringing, or maybe did not get that kind of education in our church structure or where we attended, the angels and saints are very, very, very near and dear and very powerful for us to call upon. There are stories, even in secular newspapers and on websites, of angelic intervention that nobody can explain. People showing up out of nowhere and helping lift a car off a dying person. People showing up out, and they could swear there's a person there. And, I might be calling on Deb here pretty soon, because it's about time, especially around Easter, the time of the resurrection, and the time that Ken went to heaven, to talk about angelic intervention in just daily life. We can recognize it at any time, and we can call upon it. We have a guardian angel that we can call upon. When we look at the chapter and how it suggests, this is different, okay? It suggests that we address God and remind him, as we add our prayers to the heavens, we remind him and let him know that these martyrs have suffered and died for you. They've glorified you by their faith, by their unending, unerring ability to say, yep, God, nothing's going to be first except you. That's big. As we remind him that they suffered for his love, please remember us. How can I, me who loves ease, me who's lazy, me who it is so difficult, sometimes I need a stick of dynamite to move. How can I ever even contemplate being as good as any of the saints? There's a line in my favorite daily prayer, the Auxilium Christianorum, where it basically asks, well, this isn't the daily one, this is the Litany of Humility on Friday, where we petition God, if I cannot be as holy as one of the saints, please, God, help me be as holy as I can. That's all I ask. And this, when we are praying to the saints, when we are praying to God about the saints, when we're praying, we are not worshiping anyone but God. When we are praying for intercession of the angels, we're not worshiping angels. We're not bowing down and saying, oh, you're so wonderful, you're so... No. We are asking for the intercession because they're already where we want to be, period. Okay? So, this chapter also, I love how they line this up. It's like boom, boom, boom. It's how I think and how I write. In the second instance of asking for the intercession, we basically ask, we beseech, we beseech this request to the angels. We ask, assistance to conquer our vices. We ask because we can't not subdue our laziness. We cannot subdue our desire to overeat, overdrink, overdo whatever it is. We need help. And we realize we can't do it alone. They certainly didn't, so how can we expect ourselves to? As we look back, truthfully, on our lives, on the things that we've tried, on the many times that we've thought we knew what we were doing, angelic protection, your guardian angel was never far away. The people that pray for you, whether they're in heaven or they're alive, your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents, there's someone in heaven beseeching God for you you just have no idea, on your behalf. When we sit still and we meditate on, as we have talked about in previous chapters, about some of the passion of the cross, about some of the humility of the Blessed Mother at the feet of God, we see that there is great beauty and great comfort in these supernatural, divine beings that are all around us, even right now. And there's no reason why you can't pray, whether you're behind the wheel of a car, whether you're about to go into a job interview, whether you are about to give a presentation, whether you need to ask your boss for a raise, whether you need to tell your child it's time that they get a job and add some responsibility because the house, or so, shall we say the ship is not rowing itself. Whatever that you need. And this is a beautiful one. Like I said, I have to do a whole show on this. Our guardian angel is perfectly capable of communication by just thought alone. Isn't that really sweet? And our thoughts and our prayers and our intention can be that lightning quick that, I was just speaking with someone today that this is how quick a prayer was answered. I was speaking to this person the other day and I said, this is the beauty of this. This is, this has got to happen. I pray this happens in this person's life because this is going to be life-changing today. I get this text. Boom, instantly. This is how quick the guardian angels talked, got somebody lined up, and this is taken care of. That quick, in less than 24 hours. A silent prayer in my head. I'm sure this person was praying, and boom, materialized. This is how quick guardian angels work. Especially when our prayers and our intentions are for the betterment of this other person or for the soul getting closer to God and coming to understand the proper authority of what is right. What is virtuous? What is solid? And the world does not give us that. But that was just in the last 24 hours. If I think of some other things, I could just, dozens of them. I could write a book on angelic interference. It's there. Do not assume that your angels won't help you or that something is simple. I know Ken was alive, he used to laugh at me all the time because I'd say, oh, look, found a parking spot right one. He said, angels don't work like that. I'm like, really? Yours might not, mine does. And he would just laugh at me. And that's okay because however serendipitous, either you appreciate it or you just take it for granted. And this chapter is telling us that we cannot take it for granted. All the powerful intercession that is basically at the tip of the thought with the angels and at the end of the prayer for our saints that are already in heaven. So, as always, we have a couple different levels of practice in this formation class as we seek to grow in virtue, wisdom, and excellence according to where God has us. God already loves you. He loves you just how you are, just where you are. This is going to hopefully get you a little stronger and grow your faith. For my level 1 this week, we have look, if we have not ever before, at a variety of saints for whatever it is that you might need. So let's pull out your journal, level 1, and let's write a list of 3 areas, particularly for this week. And if it's not for this week, maybe it might be for the month of February. It's a shortened month. People are out of work. They're losing their businesses or losing their jobs. They might be, thinking about being homeless. Let's look and put a list of 3 areas that you might specifically need angelic intervention. Maybe, you have to get about arrangements, something like that. Think about 3 areas and the need for prayer, the need for some sort of angelic supernatural intervention. Now, of all these things, let's decide on particularly a saint. If you're not familiar with the saints and you're interested, there are quite a few Catholic sources online that you can find. Let's see, if you're battling cancer, if, Mary MacKillop, sexual abuse, if you need, there's a number of them, and I could just rattle. However, This is a beautiful thing. There's books on saints too. Be a great fun thing to go to the library, take 5-10 minutes, whatever, look up a great book, look a few books up, grab them and start going through them. And maybe you can find a saint that resonates with the struggle that you're going through. That's how I found St. Mary Margaret of Cortona. A beautiful little short little capsule story about her. She fell in love with a very wealthy man who was to be almost like a prince, and and she was low class, he was high class. Instead of being able to marry him, she couldn't. She became his lover. She had a child, lived in the castle. He went off, went hunting, died. She was kicked out, of course, with nothing. She was bereft. She was devastated. She was lost. Young child and herself all alone. What was she going to do? No one would have her. She was used, even though she was young and beautiful. She ended up, finding herself at, a convent monastery type religious environment where they're like, well, you are a secular woman and you've had a child and we don't know about you. So she begged and she did work around. She finally got accepted and she did become Franciscan. However, she struggled with her spiritual director and she fell a number of times back into old ways of falling in love with men and, committing sins, and then always coming back and saying, God, I'm going to try harder this time. And eventually she became a saint because of her love and her love of the poor and her love of people and her duty to what she saw was the right way to live her life finally. And sometimes I want you to realize that, Mary Margaret Cortona, doesn't apply to everyone. The situation here of though her never-ending struggle, she fell a lot. And she's venerated as a saint. In other words, she's looked up to for her struggles because she kept turning around, because she kept saying, I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore. God, I want to follow you. I want to be with you. She kept doing that. And that's what the saints call us to do. So when you're looking through these books and you're looking for a special saint, maybe it might be easier if you're looking for a special saint that you can read about. There's lots of cheap books on eBay too. So like if you find a saint that you relate to, like Thomas Aquinas or Vianney or one of these saints, you get a lot of good books on eBay, really discounted prices. So I'd like you to do that. If you're interested, I'd like you to look up a saint. And if finding a saint to pray with or to doesn't resonate with you, you always have the option of a guardian angel. Your guardian angel is always around you. And your guardian angel is always willing and waiting to help you at every juncture, every turn. So with these 3 things that you have, level 1, I'd like you to begin in your prayer life that you're developing, either morning or evening. I'd like you to begin a series of either thank you, guardian angel, for watching over me, or, guardian angel, before I go to sleep, watch over me and help me be stronger tomorrow. Help me look for the good in people and help me bring it out of them. However you want to pray. I'm just giving you some examples just so that you have someplace to start, okay? So that's a good idea for you. Level 2, we're going to move into a little bit different area, because for the level 2 people that have followed me, thank you so much for maintaining and staying with me. It's a long journey, isn't it? You have already had your established prayer life, and this is a muscle you're exercising, doing all these exercises. So your faith is a little bit more developed. However, you may not exactly, past confirmation, you may not exactly have a saint that, other than the one you chose, when you were baptized and confirmed, you may not have that saint that you're like, okay, I can call on him anytime I want. So if you don't, I'd like you to take the steps, that the same steps that the other ones have, in level 1. I'd like you to go through and look at maybe 3 areas that you might need a little help with, a little prayer with here this month or this week. And I'd like you to look for a saint that you might want to discover for assistance with. Or if you've already got a saint, like let's say you love St. Peregrine or you love St. Faustina, and you already include this saint in your prayers, consider adding a chaplet of St. Michael, prayer to the 9 choirs, or just praying the St. Michael prayer on a regular basis. So, level 2, a saint or one of the angels. All right. Now, you're going to add this prayer daily this week because you already might have the St. Michael prayer. I say the St. Michael prayer every day. It's part of the rosary. It's part of, I might pray it 2 or 3 times a day. I'd like you to find the area in which that you need this specific intervention. That is going to be your challenge, level 2, is where can you better see when we have all these tools. We have these prayers, we have these saints, we have these angels, we have Jesus, we have Mary, we have all these wonderful holy people in heaven. They're our cheering committee. We just have to try and get across that line there. We have an arsenal. All we have to do is open the closet, okay? That's what I'm trying to help you guys do. I'm trying to help you understand that you can. There is no I can't. There is no I'll try. There's no I'm going to think about it. No, you can. And you will, because you're here. Because you're called. God isn't going to let you sit by and be a mere bystander. So level 2, it's time to pony up. It's time to figure out, take 2 or 3 days, what prayer that you can add. And if that means getting a saint medal and putting it on your keychain, if that means, and speaking of which, if you need all kinds of saints, you can go to prayersbythebead.com. Got to stick that in there because I love making rosaries and I've got some stunning ones. But you can do that very easily. You can put a saint medal on your rear, the little mirror, rear mirror that you have. I have a recording device in my car that records, but yeah, I've got my rosary there. So you can put it in your car. You can wear it. Like I have a St. Benedict medal I wear all the time. And, with my 4-way, my scapular, I wear St. Benedict because St. Benedict, Vada Retro Satana. We all have things that we encounter daily. Level 2, it's up to you to find where you can interject, where you can add, where you can take a moment and build up that strength stronger. I hope you like what you're seeing and hearing, folks. I really, really do. Please give me a like and a thumbs up. Subscribe if you can. Check out the other videos we have here on spiritual warfare. Have a very blessed night. Never forget the battle's already won. And hopefully I'm here to help you win it and win it right. Find more prayers and essential information on www.swordsofstmichael.org. And of course, as always, we have lots of books and sources and everything else and resources. God bless. Until next week, good night.